UK Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood says she intends to appeal London's High Court ruling that the government's ban on Palestine Action as a terrorist group was unlawful. This is what she had to say. I am disappointed by the court's decision and disagree with the notion that banning this terrorist organisation is disproportionate. I intend to fight this judgment in the Court of Appeal. Laura O'Brien is the head of the protest team at Hodge, Jones and Allen Solicitors, and she joins us now from London. Now, is this verdict, I suppose, I know it's, the ban has not yet been overturned pending an appeal, but did it come as a surprise to you?
It's the right decision, but there was always a question mark, and there was concerns in the run-up to the arguments being made with a change of judges that things were looking like they weren't going to be in favour of Huda and Mori. So, you know, you always are pessimistic in these situations, but it's absolutely the right decision. And this is an example of our democratic functions finally working, our courts checking government overreach and putting a control on governmental power. I just hope that this is something that withstands a Court of Appeal decision.
So what comes next here, Laura? I mean, can you walk us through the legal processes, as we heard from Shabana Mahmood there, saying that she was going to appeal?
So as I understand it, there is to be a further hearing on the 20th of February for confirmation of whether the government will be appealing. But the early indication, as you say, from Shabana Mahmood, is that there will be a government appeal. So currently, Palestine Action remain a prescribed organisation. I think we will know more after the hearing on the 20th of February. It is hoped, if there is going to be an appeal, that it will be expedited, because so much rests on this decision. So many prosecutions have been issued as a result of the prescription of Palestine Action, and what happens in those cases could be determined by whether or not there is an appeal and what that appeal says.
This verdict, as it stands right now, does represent, surely, in a broader sense, a reaffirmation of the freedom of speech and the right to protest.
Absolutely. I think it's important to remember, even if the government was satisfied that the threshold had been met for prescription, there was still a discretion about whether or not to instigate prescription of Palestine Action. So there is always that discretion there. It wasn't an obligation on the government, but the process itself was flawed. And this was an example of the government pursuing a political agenda at the cost of people's fundamental freedoms. This is absolutely a victory for freedom of expression. There are very many criminal laws that remain in place with or without prescription that are frequently used to pursue people where investigators are of the view that the line is being crossed between lawful protest and criminal conduct. But by prescribing Palestine Action, it has been a stifling of freedom of expression, and is really a sign of the disrespect that this government has for our long-standing history of freedom of expression, protest, and bringing about change in a collective way.
Laura, thank you so much. Laura O'Brien there. She's head of the protest team at Hodge, Jones and Allen Solicitors.